I'm Michael Laurent, and this is the Writer's Journey podcast, where you get a window into the life of a working science fiction and fantasy author. I'm on a mission to go from nobody to bestseller, and I'm documenting every step of the way. Tune in every week as I share my progress and discover what inspires my books and how I write them. You can find the show notes for today's episode at michaellaurent.com/podcast. This week, I'm giving an update on my work, and I'm answering your questions. Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the podcast. I was looking at stats for the show and it has been downloaded over 1,000 times. That's right guys, you have downloaded the Writer's Journey over 1,000 times. That's a great milestone for me, and I believe everyone starts at zero, so I've got to start somewhere and I'll take it. So thanks to all of you guys who have subscribed so far and who have been listening to me every week. I sincerely appreciate it. I'd also like to welcome a new patron on Patreon, Amelia D. Hay. Thank you for your support. In writing news, I've been writing like a madman. I've written over 75 video scripts for my Author Level Up YouTube channel. I launched it earlier in the month, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Many of my subscribers commented on the first day alone, and they welcomed me back, which made me feel really good. It's really amazing to see such great support, and I'm grateful for it. I'm back to making videos again, and that's a beautiful thing. I've noticed that there are more YouTubers in the writing space since I left, and some might see that as a negative, but I see it as a positive as I think that there are some great collaborations that can be done. Also, I'm making some pretty unique videos on YouTube, so I'm not worried about anyone copying me. Remember, when you're authentic and create content that only you can, you don't have to worry about copycats or haters. For more information on why I started up my YouTube channel, check out my episode 14 of the podcast at michaellaurent.com/episode 14. And check out the new Author Level Up videos at authorlevelup.com or youtube.com/authorlevelup. As far as fiction goes, I've made minimal progress on my Soundmage Sonata series, but as summer winds down and I've got the YouTube channel on autopilot, I cannot wait to dive back into it. In marketing news, I did an interview with Dan Blank of the Dabblers vs. Doers podcast. Dan is my co-host for the Ask Ally member Q&A podcast. We talk about creativity, how I'm able to write so fast, and all kinds of other fun aspects of being a creative. My wife heard this one too, and she doesn't listen to all of my podcasts, but she thought this one was particularly good, so if my wife approves, then you should listen too. I also appeared on the Literary Roadhouse podcast with my friends Maya Good and Anais Concepcion. I was a guest on the show a few years back, and what's cool about them is that they discuss short stories. One short story per show, and the guest gets to pick. So I chose The Bottleneck, which is a fairy tale by one of my favorite writers, Hans Christian Andersen. It was fun to get their reaction to this story. So we cover a lot of fun ground. We talk about fairy tales. We talk about censorship. We even talk about Me Too and The Cosby Show. Like, we kind of go on a really fun tangent. So it's not live yet, but I will drop a link to the show itself if you want to listen to it. And then I will let you guys know again in a future progress report episode when the show does go live. In personal news, my wife and I are now the proud owners of a new rabbit. She's a Flemish giant named Fifi. She is literally the size of a cat. Oh God, how did I get a rabbit? It's our first pet in many respects, and it's interesting to watch rabbits. They're very sensitive and social animals, and a lot like cats, believe it or not. So I'll share some pictures of her on the blog post housing this podcast episode. Also, life hit me pretty hard this month. We ran into some problems with childcare for my daughter, which ate into my writing time. For a while, things were really uncertain, and I wasn't sure what we were going to do. Of course, the writing was fine, but it was extremely stressful, and it definitely affected my output. But I kept on charging forward, and now that I'm on the other side of it and things are okay now, I'm glad I did. But it just goes to show you that you never know when life will strike. All you can do is control your response. And no progress episode of this podcast would be complete without a new sponsor. I'm telling you guys, Author Level Up is getting me some serious attention. I woke up yesterday and I had an email from this guy. I think he goes by Green Man. He's a DJ, and my videos on creativity inspired him so much that he decided to write a book about being an unusual DJ in an unusual club. It's a memoir, and I cried when I read it. And I haven't even made it past the first chapter, guys. This poor dude, man. So anyway, he sent me some money, and he told me he'd sponsor the show as a thank you for all the help I gave him. So thank you, Green Man, for the $2,000, and here's an ad for his dance club. This episode is sponsored by the Area 51 Dance Club. We're a dance club like no other on earth. Open the door, step into the light, and beam yourself up to the hottest singles club in the Andromeda Galaxy. Our dance floor is made from the finest asteroids, and we've got a live DJ every night spinning dope records from artists like Galaxy Dude, 27 Moons, I Can't Breathe, and more. Don't like to dance? Take a float in our anti-gravity room or go tanning under our micro sunlights. And don't worry about finding a ride home. We'll beam you down after we observe your every move and implant a chip in your brain, that is. Visit the Area 51 Dance Club today. There's an alien in us all. Let it out to play. Thanks for joining me this week. If you enjoyed the show, here are a couple ways to help a brother out. If you're listening to this on Anchor, favorite the show. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, do me a favor and write me a review and share it with your friends. You can of course visit my website and learn more about my work at michaellaron.com. If you have a question, send me a voice message on Anchor and you just might hear it on the show. Next week, I'll be talking about the writing life. Until then, I leave you with a quote. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Albert Einstein.